Hey guys, welcome back. It's Wednesday. You're sitting on the hashtag MagnaOnAir digital network, magnasearchgroup.tv. The studio today, it's Roy McMillan, my co-host, my colleague,
Landon Hood.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about industries. Which industries are in demand right now? What industries you, as a job searcher or job hunter, need to be focusing on? What's exploding? What's hot? Where there's a shortage? Landon's going to be taking the run with this show today.
Absolutely.
And it's an exciting topic. I'm excited to be here.
I mean, we find in the recruitment industry that job demand can be very, very cyclical, right? So, sometimes there's going to be a shortage of a certain position, and there's going to be, a lot of people that jump into that position. So, I mean, we've seen, for instance, there was a shortage of accountants. It was, solid work. We needed people. There just weren't people willing to do it. And then over the last 5-10 years, we have seen a bit of a market overcorrection, for instance, in Western Canada in particular, where a lot of people have gotten those qualifications, have gotten the schooling. There's been an increase in applicants, an increase in methods and ways to become a certified accountant. And now there's a bit of an oversaturation in the market. Now we're seeing that with pharmacists in the US as well, where there was a big boom in the last 15 years in terms of, increase in schooling for pharmacies, and because it was a huge in demand, and it is in demand, but now because there's so many that flooded it, there's a bit of an oversaturation in the US for pharmacies. Now on the other end, I mean, programmers, we're seeing a boom over the last 5-10 years. You see an increase, of course, in technology, but in web applications, so many tech startups, not only here in Vancouver, but all across North America and the world. And so there's a huge demand for programmers.
Web applications, DevOps, front-end developers, AngularJS, full stack, back-end. Everybody needs them because of the demand for tech, right?
Exactly. And there's so many small companies that need these guys. And we're seeing right now it's a high peak in demand for programmers. So today we're thinking maybe take a look at the different sectors, the different industries where, next 5 years, the next 20 years, you're going to see a big rise in demand based on what we're seeing in trends, what we're seeing in reports.
Companies are innovating. They're coming up with these crazy ideas. These founders are coming up with these crazy ideas, and it's all online, right? It's all on the web. People are coming out with applications to monetize Instagram. People are coming out with applications to help fill out a hotel room across North America, right? Like, it's just getting crazy out there. And
applications to find the nearest bathroom. There's applications for everything.
Absolutely. And these websites are so functional. There's so much going on. They're so in depth on the back end. They're so customized on the front end, which is creating that demand for those developers.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's become a big increase. Now, that's not to say that a programmer developer today can do a job that it would have taken 20 programmers to do 10 years ago. Oh yeah. So at the same end, we probably will see a correction where there'll be a less need for the quantity of programmers and a higher need for quality. So low-level programmers, you might see a transition into automated. You can have automated programs will take care of it, as well as high-end programmers
like the IT specialists, junior programmers. A lot of that now is being automated.
Absolutely.
When we get assigned a job or we get assigned a position to work on with Magna, it's our clients are telling us everything about the industry, right? They're saying we need senior people. Yeah. We need people that have the experience, that can come in, turnkey, lead a team. The junior stuff, that we can get that automated, or we can get that done offsite or offshore, whatever it may be. It's becoming more and more popular. They're looking for that, happy medium, that intermediate to senior level person that's really got that backbone when it comes to development and that's up to date with the latest technologies, right?
Exactly. And so you're seeing industries like customer service and tech support. Those jobs are sort of going downhill because those can be automated. Done. And so one industry that's really increasing and to step into sort of sectors that would be in demand in the next 5-20 years, automation. I mean, more and more you're seeing an increase in technology. You're seeing an increase in ways to automate various processes and practices across the entire scope of industries. So I mean, that's a huge industry to step into. And then big data. Big data is a huge one.
Data
more
security,
and more,
big data, the analytics behind data. Companies now are going into these large organizations determining what they're doing with their data. Ultimately, there's so many big companies that are out there that don't have a clue what's going on, where this traffic's coming from, how they're monetizing this traffic, what can they physically do with the data and the analytics from people visiting their website, information coming into their site. Security is a big one too as well. All these email threats coming over from China and Israel, wherever they're coming from, it's internet security.
Yeah, so analytics, have become huge in everything. I mean, if sports, everybody's talking about analytics now. It used to be, measurable results weren't possible. Now they're finding ways to measure and sort of quantify everything from like the movements on the basketball court to tracking how many users are watching your website through marketing. And so I mean you're looking at things like putting information on the cloud. That's really increasing. Then of course more and more people are having faith in putting their information there. There's more ways of accessing that information. So digital security, as you mentioned, is becoming huge because way more and more threats, more and more very important information being placed on the cloud and placed in sort of in tech hubs. And so it's very important. That's another industry that's booming is digital security. More and more it's important to protect your
digital data, digital security, and really understanding the analytics and the positioning behind what's happening within your company is creating a major demand for this type of talent. You have skilled trades, right? Skilled trades is just blowing up right now. You see the older generation kind of phasing out, and now everyone that's young, enthusiastic, and their first choice isn't really trades. We're finding, right? That's why there's a major shortage of these jobs and these people out there, which is creating more demand for companies.
Yeah, it was drilled in the millennials' head. The generation of entitlement that you need a university degree. That's the new high school degree. Get your college education, get a job, and it used to be that way. If you got your college education, you would get your job, and it would lead to a career. Whereas now because there's so few people going into skilled trades, and there is such a need for it, because it's such a valuable contribution to society.
A stat last year, 40% Landon of new jobs are in skilled trades.
Right.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and so many people don't even look at that option, and so more and more we're seeing. So as we mentioned, markets are cyclical. That the skilled trades, it's a very big increase in demand.
We're talking electricians, we're talking plumbers, we're talking millwrights, we're talking someone that is physically touching production. Because if production isn't happening inside a company, companies are losing money. You look at consumer packaged good companies, food manufacturing companies, anything where there's a process line, there's production. It could be a forestry mill or a sawmill or a pulp and paper mill, whatever that may be, is they need to physically keep running. That equipment needs to get maintained. That equipment needs to get serviced, which is creating a major demand for these people. And everyone's fighting for that same level of talent. So this is a major industry, which is going to increase, which is, if you're not sure what you want to do in your career and you want to get to the job market right away, get into skilled trades, right?
No, absolutely.
It's just quick, it's easy, the money is very good, very lucrative, and there's a major demand out there for it. Then you have registered nurses, which is going to be another big one, healthcare industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, nurses, that's one that really goes up and down in terms of demand. There's a huge shortage in nurses right now. There's not necessarily, a lot of people don't look at that job as their first priority, but because there's there's sort of the stigma around nursing that you don't get the appreciation that you deserve, and you don't get, the sort of the wages and the work that you put in versus doctors. It's not necessarily the right way, but, because of just simple invisible hand and market forces and the way it's going to work, you're seeing, increase in compensation for nurses.
People are getting sicker. That's the number one thing, right?
People the baby boomers are dying.
The baby boomers are dying.
There's so many of them.
People are getting sicker. There's more diseases out there. There's more things affecting people, and demand is just crazy. In 2020, it's expected to increase drastically. Psychologists, social workers, people that study the brain, like healthcare in general, cancer, like all these crazy things that are happening to people. It's creating a demand for this workforce.
So not only the baby boomers dying off, but just with better health science comes an increase in treatments, an increase in options in your treatments. Biotechnology is a huge thing. You can look at sort of what sort of conditions you're predisposed, what conditions you're genetically predisposed towards. And people are looking to increase their life expectancy. As health science increases, as biotechnology science increases, you're going to see people that can extend their lifelines much larger than we've ever imagined. Scarily long.
Scarily long.
And so that's a huge, obviously healthcare, that's a huge booming
industry. If you're a CRNBC registrant and you're registered with that association, or you're an RN, you can go anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. Make a phone call. You're in demand. You're needed. When can you show up? So it's crazy. HR managers, HR specialists. More companies, more businesses are putting a major focus on employee engagement, employee leadership, employee demand, how to retain great employees, how to deal with termination clauses. There's so much legal stuff going on there right now, which is creating a demand for HR people.
And not your standard HR jobs that people imagine, but these are new sort of, looking at organizational structure, as you mentioned, looking at employee engagement, looking at, not necessarily just
employee
hiring,
tracking systems.
Files, but it's really looking at the matrix of the organization and figuring out the ways to increase efficiency. And so you need somebody who's not just somebody who can flip through files, but you need somebody who can really take a step back. And this is high level strategy we're talking about. And more companies are realizing, hey, because companies will just grow sort of organically. They'll have their president, he'll hire a few salespeople, it'll just sort of grow. And things can really blow up, but it wasn't necessarily planned for that growth. And so you bring in somebody who can step in and say, hey, you know what, let's reorganize things a little bit. And that reorganize can be a very scary word to some employees. But if you have that person coming in, it can be huge
employee tracking, employee development, making sure every employee is compensated fairly, and strategy, analytics, and really working with the teams, and ultimately retention, because everyone's fighting for the same level of talent. Last but not least, construction managers, site superintendents, project managers. These are industries. Construction is a booming industry, which is crazy in demand right now. More residential projects are going up, more commercial projects are going up, and the best people that are in this industry are all working. Everyone's fighting for that same talent.
No, absolutely. Right now, within the next 5 years, if you're looking to get into, sort of a career path, overseeing, superintendent roles, construction manager roles, those are huge. And we're finding compensation level, work-life balance, everything like that. If you have those skills and you can manage people and you can oversee those projects, you're definitely in a good position. But yeah, I think I think it would be good. It's good to go over sort of a few of the different sectors, way things are increasing. And as you know, Rory, it's things always change. We might see in the next 5-10 years programmers. There's too many, and they can't find a job as a programmer. You never know. So that's why we keep you up to date here on Big Game Hunters. We're on MagnaSearchGroup.tv. Check us out. #MagnaOnAir. It's Wednesday. We're back on Friday with a spotlight. We'll catch you guys next time.